What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for yet another Tottenham update, and we got the news yesterday that Stellini had got the can, so the interim manager has been sacked after only a few games, and Ryan Mason is in charge. And we also heard that the whole of Antonio Conte's backroom staff has gone now as well. But Danko Patrick brings us the news that Gianni Vio, the set-piece coach, is the only member of the Conte-Stellini staff that has stayed on with Ryan Mason. And Paul O'Keefe also confirmed that Michel Vorm will be coming in to assist Ryan Mason.
Oh, that's good stuff. I wonder what capacity Michel Vorm will be, what kind of coach he'll be.
Well, the tweet was, someone asked who is going to come in as Mason's assistant, and Paul O'Keefe replied saying Michel Vorm is coming to help Mason out.
Interesting. In terms of Gianni Vio, look, when it comes to our set pieces, they've been pretty good by and large this season, I feel. I think we're top goal scorers still currently as things stand in the league for set piece goals, or near the top at least. I think we are top though. So I don't think there's any reason to get rid of him, albeit he's still quite an old school manager. Do I want him beyond this season? I don't know. That depends on the new manager if he wants a different set piece coach. But I think he's done a good job himself, so it doesn't surprise me that he's still around.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you saw the kind of fruits of his labour quite soon after coming in as well, didn't you? We started scoring quite a few set pieces. I would say they have maybe dried up a bit over the course of the season, but definitely you saw the impact early on from Gianni Vio. So I don't really have too many problems with him staying on. Let's move on and let's talk about the manager search once again, and let's start off with, well, the only one is Julian Nagelsmann today, and Miguel Delaney says that Daniel Levy will make a strong push to appoint Nagelsmann, and he is open from an approach from Tottenham Hotspur, but he would want a summer move and have a decisive say on transfers. And it will take considerable work to convince him. Alex Crook says Nagelsmann is more interested than he previously was on taking the Tottenham Hotspur job. And Ali Gold says that the suggestions from Germany certainly seem that Nagelsmann is more open to Spurs now after dropping out of the running of the Chelsea job. Spurs were never keen on being a fullback option, but when it comes to Nagelsmann, his ability to be both the glamour appointment and a project manager might just override that if they were to undertake and hold positive talks. The word from those around Bayern is that anyone trying to appoint Nagelsmann before the season ends will have to pay a hefty compensation fee as he's on gardening leave. However, the pressure on Spurs chairman is going to be immense in the weeks ahead, not least when Pochettino heads to Chelsea, so his hand might be forced into pushing something through sooner rather than later.
I don't think I think he might get a deal done with a view of it happening at the end of the season. I can't see him appointing him before the end of the season. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think he'll pay the money to get him in before the end of the season, in my opinion.
Is there any point now getting him in before the end of the season anyway?
It's too little too late, no point. So you might as well just wait to the end of the season. In terms of like us convincing him to come and whether there's actual legs to it, in my opinion, there's nothing credible yet to suggest that he's actually seriously interested in the job. There's all the reports are very clearly, very cleverly worded. We might be able to convince him. Maybe he'll be interested. He's more interested than he was before. All these kind of things. There's nothing to say Nagelsmann wants a job. Spurs are really in for him. He'll be chomping at a bit to come, or he's really seriously considering the offer. There's nothing like that at the moment when it comes to Nagelsmann. It's all very cleverly worded articles. So I'm not going to tend to believe them right now.
Yeah, and I think when you're looking at Nagelsmann, he'll probably be foolish or silly to come out right now and be like, yeah, I want that Tottenham job. I mean, it's going to take a lot of convincing, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's going to take a sporting director to know what he's doing from a strategy point of view at the football club. If he's not convinced by Chelsea's recruitment, we have a long way to go to convince him about our own recruitment, because we have our own problems, and the only way that's going to improve is when we have a proper strategy in place about who we're going to target, who we want, and Nagelsmann's going to take a lot of convincing from that point. So I don't see it happening anytime soon, especially while we're in limbo with the sporting director. So I won't believe that he's actually in the frame right now. I think he's in the frame, we want him, but I won't believe he's actually going to be our next Spurs manager until a lot of things change at this football club, until we become a club that can really convince him to come. And I think it's more likely he's gonna want to move on to a different job, in my opinion. But we'll see. Maybe we can convince him in the summer.
Let's move on. Let's talk about Giovanni Lo Celso now. Some interesting reports coming out about him. Quite a few as well. The Mail reporting that Aston Villa are keen on signing Giovanni Lo Celso. TYC Sport saying that Aston Villa have been closely monitoring Lo Celso and are determined to make a formal offer for the Tottenham Hotspur midfielder. Matti Moretto is saying that Aston Villa really like Giovanni Lo Celso, but it's too early to tell if he will move. It remains to be seen who will be the next Tottenham manager and what Spurs want to do with the Argentine. And Gaston Edel, but I think he's with TYC Sport, says that Aston Villa are interested in Lo Celso, but for now there is no offer. I mean, it would be great if we can get Aston Villa to take him off our hands.
Well, he played under Unai Emery, didn't he, last season for Villarreal, so he knows him well. It makes sense. I actually think it would be a good signing for Aston Villa. I think he improves the quality of their midfield. He's a good technical midfielder, and I think Unai Emery knows how to use him as well. I, for one, think Lo Celso is a good player. I think that if for the end, his ending at Tottenham was really disappointing because he really did drop his standards when it came to his performance on the pitch. I did think there was a time at Tottenham when he was actually quite good. Is he totally suited to the Premier League? The evidence suggests no. But I do think for Argentina and a period at Tottenham, he has shown he's a good player, in my opinion. I wouldn't be that against a new manager taking a look at him and deciding whether they want to keep him or not. I'm willing to give him another chance if that's what the new manager wants. But again, if we can get money for him, considering how much we paid for him, and we need to get him off the wage bill, that as well would be a satisfying outcome.
Yeah, so from Villarreal to Aston Villa, both under Unai Emery. So I guess it does make sense, doesn't it? So hopefully a deal can be done sooner rather than later for Giovanni Lo Celso. But let's finish up this update with an official announcement from the club. And they tweeted out today saying the players have a message for our fans who went to Newcastle on Sunday. And the statement reads, "As a squad, we understand your frustration, your anger. It wasn't good enough. We know words aren't enough in this situation like this. But believe us, a defeat like this hurts. We appreciate your support home and away. And with this in mind, we would like to reimburse fans with the cost of their match ticket from St James's Park. We know this does not change what happened on Sunday, and we will give everything to put things right against Manchester United on Thursday evening, when again your support will mean everything to us. Together and only together we can move things forward." So what was your initial reaction to that?
I think, look, it's positive. I think we were calling for them to give a refund. I think that is the right thing to do. So that's a positive step. I'm not going to criticise that action. I do think when they say in the same, "Oh, believe us, that this defeat hurts," didn't seem that way on the pitch, to be honest. It seemed as though they didn't give a crap, to be honest, about the performance and what was happening, and they were just conceding more and more goals. There was no leadership. No one seemed to care on the pitch. So, I mean, those seem to be empty words for me, but I do think they've done the right thing. It does strike up an interesting conversation in terms of from other fans that I've read saying, is this a dangerous precedent? Where is the line for when a team should be giving fans a refund, or when it's just like a bad defeat? For me, on that conversation, I just think it's one of those things where I think you kind of know it when you see it. It's hard to quantify, but I think when, like in this situation, 20 minutes in, you're 5-0 down, you've given up before 20 minutes, and your fans have travelled 5 hours, and the game's over after 20 minutes. Like, I think in that kind of situation, and the lack of fight the team showed throughout the rest of the game, I think in that kind of situation, you've just wasted the fans' time, essentially. They've come out of the game. They could have left after 20 minutes. So in that situation, I think it's right. But it does strike up an interesting conversation as to, is there a line? Because you can't just demand a refund after every bad performance, can you? But that was more than just a bad performance, wasn't it?
I think it was definitely more than a bad performance, and it kind of like that performance kind of represented just where we're at as a club right now, and what the fans have been going through for the last couple of years or whatever it's been. And I think it was the right decision to give the refund, to be honest. And I get what fans are saying about the precedent that it does set, but I've seen clubs do this before, and I've never heard this conversation before. So why only when it's Tottenham doing something like this, then fans spark this conversation like this over social media, when other clubs and other fans get reimbursed? Nothing like this happens. All you hear about, oh, good on them.
But I don't remember there being a call to reimburse the United fans after they lost 7-0.
No, I don't remember that either, but there definitely was when Arsenal lost 8-2 to Manchester United all those years ago. So, I mean, when you have a very embarrassing defeat like we just did, 5-0 down after 20 minutes, I think it's just a good gesture for the club to do. I don't think like they need to do it. I don't think that every club needs to do it on every bad performance. But when you have something that's completely out of the ordinary, like an 8-2, like a 5-0 after 20 minutes, I think it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, because I think in this kind of situation, the fans have completely had their time wasted. So I think they should be compensated for that. You shouldn't have, in such an important game, it shouldn't be over. It's unacceptable for it to be over after 20 minutes and for it to be down to the players' fault as well, with the lack of just loads of mistakes, lack of care, no fight in them. So I think in this situation, it's absolutely right that the players feel within themselves that they should reimburse the fans who turn up because they wasted their time.
Like, for example, that 7-2 loss to Bayern Munich, right? Like, there was no need for a reimbursement of that because we saw effort from those players in that game. When you go up to Newcastle, the furthest away ground in the league, in a massive game like that where like top four is in touching distance, it's a disgraceful and it's pretty much unforgivable, to be honest. So that's where I'm at with it. And look, you gotta give credit where credit's due to the club. It's a step in the right direction, but that's all it is right now. All it is one small step. So I'm not going to commend them amazingly for doing so. It's just something that they should be doing. So that's a correct thing that they have done. But that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts are on reimbursing the fans, what your thoughts are on the rest of the topics we spoke about today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always,
come on you Spurs.